Hello everybody and welcome back to another update video for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 where Sim Update 4's beta has begun. I'm so excited. So what we're going to do here is go through the release notes and I'll have it chaptered out so you can see things like VR, career, or whatever you're specifically interested in. So I'll have it all chaptered out, you can scrub through and find what you're looking for. So without further ado, let's dive into Sim Update 4's beta build of 1.6.3.0. For new content and features, the collection page of the World Photographer mode now only displays the title of the hovered objective, added loading spinner in Avatar Creator page, and added new graphic setting on console to display or hide seatbelts. For stability and performance, fixed a rare crash during boot video when using FSR, optimized grass rendering, performance optimization of input system, fixed a crash in the tissue simulation, fixed a crash in the tire mark and footprint system, performance optimizations on airport, ATC, aircraft and scenery of boat and road traffic and of SimFlow code. Fixed a crash in the world map, fixed a crash in the ATC system, in the smart camera system, in the AI path following system, in the flight planner, in the airport vehicle simulation, in the radar system, in the ATC tower system, in the special effects system, in the navigation graph, and fixed more crashes in the airport taxiway simulation and in the smart camera code. Optimization of main CPU thread and optimization of the main CPU code for event display. Optimized scenery objects culling compute and optimization of graphic user interface menu pages. And now we have a bunch of fixes in the CFD not compatible with inverted flight, a crash in the Copilot system, a crash in the airport system, crashes in the navigation graph system, and crashes in the CFD simulation, taxiway system, GLTF scene graph, rare crash occurrence when adjusting flight plan waypoint altitude, fixed a crash in the path following and in the cabin service system, and in the WASM, in the pushback system, in the ATC menu system. And we have even more crash fixes in the flight planning system, camera system, aircraft unallocation system, crash related to air traffic, crash in the aircraft loading and creation system, crash in the cabin service system, and fixed a crash when switching in and out of VR. Moving on to general bug fixes, fixed an issue where the plane thumbnail were not used correctly in activities briefing, fixed smoke effects not correctly simulated in career firefighting initial attack after skipping previous steps. Opening the company's page now only plays the validation sound a single time. Validation sound is now only played once when going into free flight plane selection. Fixed wrong livery displayed in the aircraft selector on start. Fixed an issue where the credits would close before reaching the end. I'm glad they got that one fixed because I love watching the That's just a funny one to see. Fixed an issue where refreshing the airport data could cause a stutter, most visible when selecting a departure or an arrival in the free flight world photographer. Fixed an issue where the departure time in the logbook was not set to the real time of the flight. Added the missing scrolls using a gamepad on help pages. Fixed AI aircraft contrails not showing if the user altitude is too low. The weather layers in the advanced layers in the world, AP filters, are now usable with IFR and blend. Fixed an issue where some panels were not retaining position and size information when restarting certain game mode. The animation where missions appear on the career world map is now noticeably smoother. Fixed an issue where some lists were not fully displayed resolutions smaller than 1080p. Fixed text during the boot process being tiny on high resolution screens. Fixed an issue where the chat history disappeared after the user changed an option. Fixed gamepad disabled when hovering an external UI panel. Fixed character creator text not being translated. Fixed an issue where changing the voice chat output or input device would appear to not work properly. Fixed an issue where some input could be displayed in the controls screen regardless of the selected device in the devices list. Fixed an issue where some discovery tiles could have wrong styling. Fixed an issue where some options lines could have wrong values when switching from one screen to another. Improved avatar load inside the character selector. And then we have some more fixes for character customization button not being visually disabled when the customization is unavailable. Arabic text rendered left to right instead of right to left on adaptive plane and adaptive mission text. An issue where toggling the real-time switch would not properly update the time in free flight. World map stamps display when changing resolution in career mode. And lastly, fixed airliners tends to be too high when setting an airport as arrival and spawning airborne. Install Performance and Graphics added Community 2024 folder used to allow sharing of community packages with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 without making this iteration load 2024 packages. Moving on to aircraft, improved aircraft weight debug page to display weight stations. Fixed can't interact with aircraft on cursor mode while being the avatar. Fixed aircraft cannot be controlled while being in fixed external camera views. Improved simulation of traffic and multiplayer aircraft wake turbulence. Nice, I was just talking about that today. DA62 fixed jittering on some PAX seatbelts. AT802 fixed emissive in firefighting panel. Passive aircraft removed all skis and float variation from traffic. And water splash effects fixed to prevent cuts at high speed. The Airbus H125 reworked electrical system. For the Boeing 737, floating flares removed around taxi lights. Added additional parameters to G3000 Autopilot speed knob template to allow customization of sound events. Applied performance optimizations to the rendering of waypoints on the map. And fixed an issue with the flight path vectorization that could cause the generated flight path to oscillate between two significantly different states. The F-18 fixed canopy frost effects not consistent across all LODs, and added external camera pitch parameter for better visual comfort in loop. The CL415 physic of water dropping effects improved, and visual update of water drop effects at low speed. The Cabri G2 EPM brightness controls are now functional, and added highlighting visual helpers for standard checkpoints of the page pre-flight inspection external. The ES30 has fixed cargo door animation. The hot air balloon and the fly-do hot air balloon fixed an issue causing the hot air balloons to be zoomed in during the configuration screen, and fixed hot air balloons sometimes flying away in aircraft configurator. And for the fly-do, fixed an issue preventing the balloon vent keybind from working properly on the fly-do. And if you truly want to avoid any such issues with the hot air balloons, just make sure you're flying at 150 knot winds. So, a little pro tip for you. The Junkers F-13 fixed an issue where AI traffic would get pushback services denied multiple times. The MX Aircraft Company MXSR smoke effects added on the MXSR. The Zivco Aeronautics Edge 540 smoke effects added on Edge 540, and fixed wheels missing contact points. And that is everything for specifics on planes. I'm a bit disappointed. Was kind of hoping to... we have a long beta period here. I'm still hoping we'll see some fixes for the artwork on the 787, the 747, the Dreamlifter, stuff like that. Because apparently they're still going to be buggy like they have been, so... Aircraft core systems fix some emissive flashing issues when disabling an interaction highlight. Failure wear and tear fixed brakes wear and tear incorrectly ignoring aircraft stress assistance option. Moving on to glass cockpits, the G1000 applied performance optimizations to the rendering of waypoints on the map. The G3000's built-in GPS receivers are now simulated to have a 12+3 channel configuration, and fixed an issue where spurious traffic icons were sometimes displayed on the map. The G3000 and 5000 apply performance optimizations in rendering of waypoints on the map. I'm not going to keep saying that, you get it. It's going to be for every single one, so... same with the 11+1 channel configuration, adjusted the field of view of the PFD synthetic vision display to more closely match that of the real unit. And then another spurious traffic icon fix, and fixed an issue where the user facility idents could be incorrectly numbered when sending a plan from the EFB. The G3X Touch, same performance optimization, fixed an issue with spurious traffic, adjusted the field of view of the PFD synthetic vision, fixed an issue with spurious traffic, again, and fixed an issue where the user facility idents could be incorrectly numbered. The GNS 430 and 530 both had those same fixes as well. The Primus Epic 2.0 integrated avionics system. More optimizations. The unit now automatically loads the simulator EFB route on startup if one is available. Fixed swap altitudes for between constraints shown on the map. Fixed sync of flight plans from the world map EFB. Fixed an issue with the flight path vectorization that could cause the generated flight path to oscillate between two significantly different states. Fixed VGP mode using GPS alt rather than the Barrow alt for LP and VNAV approaches. Fixed VGP mode never capturing the glide path. fixed TOC regularly appearing while cruising, and adjusted the field of view of the PFD synthetic vision. The ProLine 21 integrated avionics system has seen the same fixes. The UNS-1EWS BAS flight management system, same things except there's something different here, fixed an issue where the position could not be accepted on the INIT page. I'm not going to read through this, but this is the physics section. I'm trying to avoid the dev stuff. If you want to see it, you can check the link in the description and comments. But yeah, I'll just leave it up here. You can pause it, check it out. Moving on to the EFB, and the Pilot Book app aligned the flight list to the top when there are not enough flights to take the whole screen space. Map now centers on the airplane position when the EFB is first opened, and there is no flight plan. Map now centers on the flight plan when the EFB is first opened. Fixed an issue where the traffic icon incorrectly appeared at the center of the map after restarting the game with traffic disabled in map settings. In the aircraft app, ensured the load mass indications are properly updated when water ballast is being dropped. In the aircraft app, ensured the necessary fuel indication is properly updated after refueling in employee missions. Performance optimization when requesting facilities or returning nearest search results. The facilities will now only be returned to the view that requested it. In the Pilot Book app, fix the flight hours total so that it matches the logbook, and also fix the order of the flights listed in the logbook within 1 day so that it displays in chronological order. More stuff in the aircraft app include moved the landing ground roll checklist to the postal flight category, and divided the seat's maximum mass between available passenger loads for legacy aircraft in the mass and balance menu, as well as added value labels on loads to ease the comprehension when using the quick fill slider in the mass and balance menu. Revamped the seat's boarding alert style sheet in the mass and balance menu. Fixed an issue where sometimes focusing on flight plan or previewed procedure on the map did not result in a view where all legs were visible. Note that even with this fix, some legs may still be cropped in the focused view if all the legs cannot fit on the map at the lowest zoom level. Fixed position display for facilities with either latitude or longitude 0. Changed the pathing of the VFR pattern approach reverse teardrop entry to be consistent with the simulator. Fixed an issue where headwind tailwind was inverted when calculating predicted ground speed for certain legs in the flight plan. Fix an issue that could cause performance vertical path calculations to sometimes incorrectly fail. Changing the zoom of the map using mouse wheel scroll while the map is following the airplane will no longer cause the map to unfollow the airplane. Fixed an issue where user facility idents could be incorrectly numbered when sending a plan from the EFB. Moving on to aircraft gameplay, ATC added VOR and NDB station altitudes to the facility listener, fixed ATC being muted after a back on track, and fixed sometimes the pushback failing due to ground services not correctly initialized. Career added specialization icon in missions filters, and then some general bug fixes for Career. Fixed a few weather presets, removed snow from some missions where it should not snow. Fixed character image not updating properly when going back from customization. Fixed unit not updating correctly when returning to briefing from the settings. Fixed briefing flight distance not formatting correctly. Fixed parasite grame between some screens in my companies. Fixed specialization menu lagging a bit when scrolling fast by adding a delay before updating the specialization overview. Fixed taxi ribbons stopping before the helipads when passing through a hold short. Fixed sound playing in reward screen for bonus progression when no bonus is to be applied. And fixed MP layers advanced wind effect not working in Career. In Free Flight, fixed skydiver, patient, and hoist controller not linked to EFB and Free Flight. Moving on to Career missions, fixed landing announcement and certification. Search and rescue smoke rescue effects projected upwards with gravity vector instead of local vector to prevent orientation problems. Search and rescue hoist, fixed hoist and cabin service state after a back on track during hoist phase, and fixed rescuer stuck when going out of hover area during animation. Skydive aviation, fixed skydiver's parachute sometimes blowing out while being still in the aircraft, and fixed skydiver's parachute missing. That's good, you know. You don't want to jump out of a plane without your parachute. Couple things for certifications: removed trailing traffic from CTAF or CTAF calls, fixed mission completed while crashing on the runway. Turbine rating, removed connect to airport ATC communication, which was not relevant. For the world, fixed clouds potentially having different origins when starting flights from the same position, fixed external snow or eternal snow applied too much, and fixed a crash in the tree generation. For airports, I'm not going to go through it, I'll just have pictures of it so you can pause and check it out, see if an airport that you're wanting some fixes for has some adjusted taxi paths or renames like Las Vegas, fixed airport name to Harry Reid International Airport, and then a bunch of fuel pump positions fixed as well. Oh, KCOS, Colorado Springs. Look at that fixed terraforming issue. Nice. Maybe all the runways aren't full of little mountains. Nice. Moving on to traffic, air traffic added the possibility to spawn a random aircraft via the parking occupation debug window, fixed crashes and memory handling when using this window, and fixed some cases where AI traffic would not acknowledge taxi clearances. In multiplayer, fixed logo on player's plane not being duplicated in multiplayer, fixed multiplayer plane movement when the pilot is in photo mode, and fixed visual and audio effects not properly replicated in multiplayer for the hot air balloon. For virtual reality, added favorited rendering scale to the graphics setting, replaced the full 2 eyes view on desktop monitor with a single cropped 16:9 view. Keep head pose and XR data when Quest 3 stops tracking to not break the mirror rendering. And fixed cockpit LODs, which were unaffected by VR LOD factor. For controls, fixed some unusable actions being listed in control settings, and fixed the input bindings not updating after deletion in the controls settings, added vibration effects on afterburner, burner, spraying, water bombing, smoke, gear up, down, and flaps. Added the unassigned input actions when filtering via analog digital axis in the settings menu. And lastly, fixed toggle head tracking not having input repetition off by default. Moving on to peripherals, various peripheral fixes, fixed conflicts in the mapping of menus. Back to fly action is now mapped to the same input as back on track for default profiles that have both. Skipping RTC is now mapped to space on keyboards to avoid conflicts with pausing. Got a couple things for activities and training, fixed failure screen in VFR landmark navigation mission, fixed a marker name in helicopter takeoff training, challenges series fixed avatar missing in RTC at the beginning of challenges, for World Photographer toolbar and in-game panels, fixed the toolbar could close when pressing the close panel button and could not be reopened. And the last thing is character assets and animations. Player character fixed character collision uncrouching automatically and being sometimes in collisions, and fixed character model rotate with headset rotation, creating a pivot point behind the head. And then the rest of it is dev mode, so there's a bunch of the stuff there. So again, if you're a developer and you're wanting to see more back-end stuff, I'll have the link in the description and the comments to bring you to the full release notes. So there we have it, folks. That is 1.6.3.0 out now in beta. I'm really excited to dive in and see what's going on. Still a bit, sad to not see any new of the AnyBuild stuff going on, or some things in career mode to test out, because I'm still hoping we'll be able to test that and see it before it gets shipped out officially. The other thing I want to mention too is if you do join the beta, do not be shocked when your career profile is completely different and everything is unlocked. That is intentional. It will always be like that for further betas. So if you don't want to leave your career profile or anything, don't join the beta. If you're not worried about it, I highly recommend going in the beta and, giving your feedback on everything. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I thought I'd do it separately from a live stream. We'll of course be live tomorrow to dive into Sim Update 4 and see what's going on. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. See ya.